This is episode 67, Why Good Intentions Are Not Enough. Welcome to Alive by Design. My name is Blake Mallon, and we're here to bring you inspiring people, principles, and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. Open your mind and let's dive in. Hey guys, before you listen to the podcast, I just want to drop in and say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm super excited about this new Walk With Me series. These are solo episodes where I take some time in the middle of my morning run through the Santa Monica Mountains to share some inspired ideas and thoughts on my mind and heart. If you want to join me for any of these conversations live, you can catch me many mornings on my Facebook page, facebook.com/blakemallon.page. Would love to see you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Walk with me. Intentions matter. At least I think so. I really believe that our intentions matter. How about you? What is the difference anyway between good intention and a bad intention? We've all seen it. I know you've experienced it. I know we've all had people in our life that have maybe been in circumstances with us, and we've experienced both sides, people that have had maybe good intentions in that circumstance, or people that had bad intentions in that circumstance. Maybe even if we're honest with ourselves, maybe we've been in situations where maybe we were that person that either had good intentions, or maybe in that specific situation, maybe we didn't. I think either way, intentions matter. How would you define good intentions versus bad intentions? Just curious. What comes to mind when you think about someone that has good intentions, someone that has bad intentions, or even the intention you bring into certain situations? How do you draw the line between what is good and what is bad? I think to me, it comes down to the betterment or the detriment of all those involved. If I were to simplify, right? I think good intentions, my own definition, are a desire to take the steps, do the things, get the outcome that is for the betterment of all those involved, not just you, or not just a few. Where maybe bad intentions have the desire, conscious or unconscious. Sometimes we're aware, sometimes maybe we're not even aware, to do something, to say something, to create something, to get to an outcome that one way or another, aware or unaware, is to the detriment of some involved. And let's be real, there's plenty of people out there and plenty of circumstances that attract both good intentions and bad intentions from people. I learned this lesson, or got introduced to this lesson, I'm sure early in life, I'm sure from my parents, but the first kind of big principle that I can recall that I still gravitate to today was taught by my freshman water polo coach. Yeah, I played water polo in high school, ran around in the Speedo. Fun sport, tough sport. And I remember one of our early practices freshman year, he handed us all a poem called The Builder. And the premise of the poem is there's really two types of people. There's those that spend their life, their energy building up, and there's those that spend it tearing down. And the challenge was to be a builder. Someone that constantly builds up others, builds up things, builds up ideas. Betterment, not tear down, not detriment. So I've always tried to do my best. None of us is perfect to be a builder, to bring good intentions. But I don't know about you. I've also experienced people that do the same. A lot of people that I think bring amazing intention, energy into the situation. I've also met a lot of people that bring the opposite. And I don't want to be stuck in an ideal world or a utopia, paint a picture of perfection, because let's all be really real here. There's plenty of times we run into situations where we face bad intentions. I mean, there's a lot of careers and professions whose job is to get an outcome that's at the detriment of those involved. A lot of those professions can make a lot of money, get a lot of power by tearing down, by hurting others. And I'm not here to judge professions or who's on what side. I'm just here to have a conversation and inspired thought with all of you on the topic of intention and how I believe good intentions is the right starting point. Focusing on the betterment, not the detriment, the building up, not the tearing down, and how we can bring that into our life, our situations, our environment. But there's a but. You probably knew there was a but coming. There's always a but in our conversations, right? I don't believe good intentions is enough. When I say enough for you, for all of us, to really pursue our potential and all we can be. It's the start. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to get the end result that I know you're capable of. I think we have to learn to make the shift from simply good intentions to what I'll call intentional living, which are very different things. I want to talk about that shift this morning, why good intentions is the start, but intentional living should be our goal, the difference between the two and a roadmap to get you started. But I gotta ask, do you believe intentions matter? Do intentions matter? Good intention is the starting point. What is good intention? I think good intention is making sure, I'm gonna go ahead and take a seat here, and I will warn you, it might start raining on me and on us here today, but it is what it is. Good intentions are the starting point. When we go into a situation, a circumstance, when we're in a conversation, when we're dealing with a few people or a lot of people, we should always check ourselves and ask, what is our intention in this situation? How can I get the best for all those involved? Are the decision or the direction that I'm taking, the actions that I'm making, are they for the betterment of everybody? Or am I just trying to advance myself, my own situation, and it could be at the detriment of others? Are my intentions in check? And not just ask ourselves those questions, but when we're dealing with other people and other relationships in personal life or business life, we should ask the same question of those that maybe we're locking arms with, we're exchanging with. Where are their intentions in this situation? I think the starting point is intentions have to be aligned, and we got to come from a place of good intention, trying to get the best outcome for all those involved. And I think that is the starting point, But my point of my conversation today is to maybe create an awareness or a consciousness that starting point is not enough. I know a lot of people that have amazing intentions, great people, huge hearts, lead with love, truly care, look out for others, try to do what's best, try to build up, not tear down, focus on betterment, not detriment, and they are those people, and they strive for that. Yet for some reason, I sometimes see people with the best intentions they bring that aren't getting the desired outcomes that they want in life, in career, the success that they deserve. But here we talk about karma. We talk about what we put out comes back. We talk about, energy and frequency, and what we radiate returns. And I believe in all of that. I think putting good intention out in the world will come back to you. Creating that energy will come back to you. But you got to understand, it's not enough. Good intentions are the start. Intentional living has got to be the goal. Now you might say, Blake, well, what's the difference between good intentions and intentional living? Good intentions is the desire. Good intentions is the beginning. The desire to do what's right, the desire to do what's best. Good intentions are the hope. Good intentions are the wish. That has to be the starting point. But a desire is not enough unless that desire is backed with an action. You guys, that's the big difference between intentions and intentional living. Intentional living is taking the action in alignment with an intentional direction of how we want to live and the life we want to create. Our goal should not be purely good intentions. That should be a commitment for every beginning. Our goal should be to live intentionally in an alignment with the direction we want to go, with what we want to do, with who we want to be, with the life we want to live. Now you might say, well, Blake, how do I make that shift from good intentions to intentional living? I'll give you a compass, if you will. I'll give you a framework. And I really think it really comes down to kind of two questions: what drives you and what guides you? And if you get a clarity in what drives you and you get a clarity in what guides you, then I think we have the beginning of what we need for intentional living. We have a set of directions that we can align our actions around. So let's break these down, some simple things you might want to ask yourself, put some time in to make the shift from maybe good intentions to intentional living. What drives us at the highest level for all of us is going to start with a purpose. I think for all of us, we have a similar purpose. I think at the end of the day, the purpose of all of our existence out here is to contribute in some way to others, to have a life of meaning that is not just about ourselves, to have our time and energy on this planet matter in a way outside of just us, to contribute, to give back in some way. Now, for some of us, that purpose might be to give back and contribute to our family unit. For some of us, it might be our community or an organization or our company. For some of us, our impact might transcend that in a bigger way and move more people. It doesn't matter the quantity. What matters is that you're making an impact outside of just you. That's what purpose is all about. And I think that starts as what drives us. Now, how we do that is our mission. The second question behind what's my purpose is what's my mission. The mission is how you're going about doing that right now. Your purpose, I don't think, ever changes. Your purpose, you don't get to pick. Your purpose selected you, right? We all have that within us. It is natural. It is innate. Our mission, we get to choose, and our mission might change, right? Or evolve over time. Our mission is the how. Right now, we are pursuing that purpose to the world. And you got to be clear on what your mission is right here and right now, because those two things get us going. Those two things drive us. That's like the fire, the catalyst, the ignition, the gasoline, what gets us taking the steps forward. That's important in order to get started. But beyond what drives us, we have to know what guides us, right? It's one thing to have gas in the tank and your car steaming forward. It's another thing to have your hands on the steering wheel and knowing where to turn left and to turn right. You got to know what guides you. Otherwise, you're just a car flying down the road without any navigation. What guides us? First, I think we have to ask, what are our core values? What are the 5 to 10 things that are core to us that are never changing? The 5 to 10 values or value statements that are true in everything we do. The hard lines we have when it comes to our character and personality. They are a global blueprint we apply to everything we do, however big and however small. And you got to get clear on what your value system is, those 5 to 10 things that are non-negotiable in what you do to help you guide you. That's the framework. Do you know what yours are? Have you put time into what you truly value? Do you have them written out and listed somewhere? Can you tell me right now from the top of your head? If not, we got work to do. To live intentionally. To live intentionally. Now, I think values are things that will apply globally in all situations, but I think there's a layer deeper when it comes to what guides us. I'm going to call them principles, right? Principles which we choose to live by. Values are global. Values apply everywhere. Principles can be situational. Principles can be niche or specific. Principles, guys, are life lessons we gather over time that we choose to believe, right? We choose to be true, and they become an ongoing roadmap in certain situations. You guys, principles come from experience, sometimes the easy way, a lot of times the hard way, right? How many of us have gathered principles because we messed something up, we fell down, we failed. We looked back and we said, I'm not going to do that again. And we made a principle, right, in order to apply. Principles can also be learned from those around us, people that have had other experience. You can learn from your experience and you can learn from others' experience, grabbing principles of which to use as your blueprint. But we got to make sure we're doing all of this. Imagine going through life and life giving us the gift of lessons, easy ones and hard ones, and yet we don't even recognize that it is a gift by extracting the principle, turning it into something to live by for the future and creating change. Guys, if we don't do that, we end up repeating the same situations, the same mistakes over and over and over again. You will relive the situations until you grab the lesson. You make the principle. You do change. That's taking, right, an intention and turning it into an action. That's how we live intentionally. First, it starts with our values that are global. Second, it starts with the principles that are situational. And lastly, I think we have to focus what we do, focus our actions. And that comes down, guys, to simply setting goals. We've all been taught this. We all know this. We know goals are important. My question is, are you still doing it? You never outgrow goal setting. Whatever your formula or system is, whenever you do that, the goals are what focus us. Values are our global truths that we apply in every situation. Principles are situational lessons that we've learned from ours and other experiences that we apply moving forward. And goals, what we set our target on, our aim, our focus to keep us going. And lastly, guys, in order to move after our goals, come down to habits. Habits are the daily activities, the weekly activities, the things we consistently do in order to pursue the targets or the goals that we put out there, the things we consistently do in order to apply those principles and values. And knowing that if we align all of those things, we're going to move toward that mission and live that purpose that we talked about. So guys, those are simple things. You've all heard those words before in different ways. None of this is revolutionary or earth-shattering. My question to all of you is, have you put the thought into what those are? What is your working purpose right now in your mission? What are the 5 to 10 values that you're choosing to live by? Have you collected a list of principles that you are applying? Do you have goals that you're focused on? And what are the habits that you're doing every day? And my question is, are they in alignment? And if you go back and check your calendar yesterday, last week, last month, last year, would you say that you're living your life intentionally based on that roadmap or that blueprint? Guys, you can have all the best intentions in the world, and we should. The world alone would be a better place if everybody came to every situation with good intentions. I think it is the starting point, and it's definitely better than the alternative. And while your good intentions will help those around you, your good intentions is not enough for you to pursue the best you. We got to make the shift from intentions into living intentionally, an intentional life. And I think this conversation is a starting point. Living your life every day, in my opinion, without these things we're talking about, without an intention behind your action, without a blueprint or a roadmap, you might as well be a sailboat out at sea with no rudder. With no rudder, whatever way the wind decides to blow, that's the way you will go. That's not a way to sail a ship. That's not a way to live your life. You can't be blown by the wind of today or somebody else's gust. You got to set your own rudder. Otherwise, what's the point? Live intentionally. So guys, as you can see or hear, it is raining on me right now, and I'm gonna head back. But wanted to share some inspired thoughts today. For all of you that bring good intentions to the world, I love you, I appreciate you, I respect you, I thank you, because you're the type of energy the world needs right now. There's too many people tearing down. We need more people building up, and I applaud you for that starting point. But I challenge all of you to only look at that as a starting point and make the shift from good intentions to intentional living. And follow the blueprint I gave you today and really ask yourself those questions. Write them down. What's my purpose? What's my mission? What are my values? What are my principles? What are my goals? What are my habits? And then strive, not for perfection, guys, but just for progress every day in alignment of that direction. So we put the rudder, right, of our life in the direction that we want to go. In the meantime, guys, I challenge you, good intentions at the beginning of everything, but living intentionally is what I want for all of you, so you can be who you're meant to be, do what you're meant to do, and live the life you're meant to live by your own design, not by default. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey guys, one last thing. I'm super excited that this new podcast, The Live by Design, just went live. You see, I designed the show to bring you inspired thoughts and fascinating conversations with the world's most impactful people, to provide transformative principles and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. And I'd love for you to help me spread the word now. Simply subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on this platform right now. So if I've ever given you value, please do me this personal favor and go subscribe now. And if you found today's episode helpful in any way, make sure you share this with at least one friend today. You have the power right now to change someone's day. So send them a text message with a link to alivebydesign.com, or simply copy and paste the link right from this podcast platform. Who's one person you know right now that you want to see succeed, that you want to see grow, that you want to see feel more alive? Shoot them a text with your largest takeaway from today and be a light in their day. And if you were referred here by a friend, make sure you shoot them a text back and say thank you. I'd love to hear from you directly on what you got from today's podcast. So if you're up for it, drop by my Instagram @BlakeMalin and shoot me a DM. And as always, thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for you, and I hope our time together today in some small way helped you feel a little more alive. Until next time.